It's almost top of the hour, only 3 minutes shy, but let's go ahead and swing over to Matt. And I think we got some gallery folks in already. We can kick off gallery, and
Uh,
then we'll be starting the demo at half past the hour here. So
all right. Well, first up is Dale. What you got, Dale?
Okay. I did a few items in tribute to David Ellsworth this week. Here's the first little hollow form I did. This
In
one's
his
out of
favorite color.
maple. Yep. And this one I colored because the grain was pretty boring. It's only about 2.5 inches tall and an inch and a half wide.
That's
And then here's another one that's about the same size. This piece of maple had a little more character.
kind of finish you got on them.
Uh, I think this the one may have some shine juice. This one I think is just feed and wax. And then the third one's a little bigger. It's walnut, and I know it's just got the feed and wax on it.
Pretty. Pull it back
Yeah,
towards you a
I
little bit.
like it.
I like those shapes.
Hmm. I got another one that's more of a saucer shape that I didn't get finished on the lathe. And I had a more of a natural form that had some bark inclusions and stuff that I was working on. And it had a ridge on the inside when I was trying to finish the hollowing that I was trying to get rid of, but it exploded on me. And I was glad I was wearing my helmet when
Those are
it did,
fun.
because it just phew all over the shop.
A big blue.
So
Nice.
it was a good thing I was wearing my safety shield respirator helmet when it exploded.
Yeah.
Glad you weren't hurt.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
cool. Very cool.
that's why I never turn my lathe on without a safety shield on,
Exactly.
because I've had too
Very
many
cool.
pieces break like that.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen for quite a while.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
cool.
you never know when there's a crack there that you didn't see, or you take that one cut that you should have said, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fatal final cut.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Next up is Dave. What do you got, Dave?
Well, sort of a rescue slash backwards.
There you go.
An old piece of fence post at 4x4. And what I was trying to do is I had it in the lathe with this against the center. And I had decided in my lack of wisdom that I was going to try to practice my captive rings. And after I busted off the second one, I said, this is just not gonna, the grain on this is just too rough. I mean, but I decided to make a backward backward goblet, and I was very happy.
What's the wood? What's the wood, Dave?
It's an old fence post. I think it's pine.
Yeah, pine. Okay. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Treated wood.
Looks like
Yeah.
it came right out of an Indiana Jones movie. Really? I mean, wasn't that the feature piece?
I've chosen wisely. Yes.
Yes. Chosen wisely.
First time he hasn't shown us a piece of cherry to start with.
Well, but I'm very happy with it, with the cut I was able to get, even though it's crap wood. Because there's not a lot of fancy sanding or anything on it. It's pretty much
Nice.
just
Yeah, cool.
Nice job.
I haven't bothered to grind off the tenon,
Right.
but
It means you got a good shear cut going, Dave, because if you don't, you'll all tear out. So it means you're doing well. So
Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
it started off as just a practice piece. It turned into a disaster, and then it came out so that, not bad.
That
What
looks
tool
nice.
did you, what tool did you use, Dave? Or
Ball gouge,
just a bow gouge? Okay,
ball gouge, yeah.
very cool.
very good. Very good.
Well done.
Yeah.
Good recovery.
That's about all I had time for.
Okay.
A 3-year-old keeps
The
me pretty busy.
kaleidoscope said, I think you need pricing for the package.
Next up is Roger. What you got, Roger?
Well, I'm starting a new project.
Wow.
Nice.
It's a great start.
Is that the center ring?
Oh, yeah. This is 10-inch diameter. So,
Mm-mm-mm. Wow.
but I didn't do a good job in matching woods. The maple that I used, it was different colored in spots. This piece was, cut side by side. This is just the back side of the piece, or and so. And
How'd you make the
Nice.
heart?
the hearts are made. First, you take a plug cutting jig and make 1/2-inch plugs. You drill the first hole. Then insert the plug. You drill the second hole. And like I say, they're 1/2-inch. So you need to get it real close to 1/2-inch. Like this one, I got it too far apart.
Hmm.
Okay, then how'd you make the bottom of the heart?
And then you cut this piece to fit the width of the 2 dots,
Right.
and you cut it off at an angle. And the angle varies depending upon the size of the heart. So I got pictures of it.
I think
I'll
I
try to
saw
put
it
it-
on Facebook. You had that on Facebook?
So.
Very
And
cool. Well, we're looking forward to seeing how it evolves.
I
Birdie.
got a laser pecker.
Yeah. I
I
noticed
saw
that.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's on my list.
So you're pecking your laser now.
yeah, I'm surprised how well it does. This is just a scrap
Impressive.
piece of wood that I was.
I was
I got
impressed
my
with your first burnings.
Which one did you get?
the cheapest one,
Okay.
$260 worth. I even tried a picture of myself.
I don't
How
look
long has it
anything
been
like
since,
it.
how long has it been since you had that much hair?
That picture was 50 years ago.
Hmm.
Wow.
Very cool.
That was a picture from graduating college.
Wow.
So
So,
serious.
What fun.
You haven't changed a bit.
Not a bit, no.
Yeah, right.
Very
Mhm.
cool. Thanks, Roger. Next
All right.
up is Al. What you got, Al?
How's everybody doing?
Good.
That's good. Last week, I think it was last week, I showed this piece last week, and I said this really isn't what it's supposed to have been. And I showed that, and it still didn't come out the way it's supposed to be. But you ever hear of a double lidded box?
Very, very cool.
Oh my
So are you
goodness.
learning stuff along the way, Al? You learn how to do things better each time?
I mean, uh,
He's just having fun.
I'm just having fun. Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. That's cool too.
Little box.
Huh.
Or if you have nothing else to do, it could be a base. Who knows?
A box vase. There you go.
Yeah, box face. Yeah, there you go. It should sell.
It's a feature. That's right. That's right.
Double the price.
No, well, I thought. But anyway, if anyone's interested, super simple to make. If you see right there, that's the bottom of a platter. See, and this here was the other bottom of the platter, and I just cut it in half, and I glued it together.
Mhm.
Very cool.
Well, but and then the other side, well, you could figure what the other side would look like if that's the bottom. You know, like the tenant was right here and stuff like that, you know. But
Yep.
I thought it was a cool idea.
It is. It's a very cool idea.
Yeah.
And kudos to you for wading in.
Crazy.
Is that it? Is that it tonight, Al? You got more?
I'm working on making I guess a scraper like what Scott showed last week. I have some questions, Scott. If you're on, I have some questions. I'll wait till later on tonight. How you were holding this in order to make it. I'm having trouble getting my two sides.
We can
I've
discuss
used
it
it.
now.
I could get some ribbons with it. But it's not right. And if you have anything to add to, I bought this. It was a piece of metal I bought at Lowe's, and I got my torches out, and I had this thing cherry red. I think 3 times, and I cooled it down nice and slow. So it's hardened enough for all I want to play with. But if you could show me how you held that, I'd appreciate it.
I think you should grind it. You should grind it before you harden it, shouldn't you?
You know, I said that to myself as I was shaping it after I did it. Yes. God, it's pretty hard to do. You're absolutely right, Jim. But
So you use
live
the
and
Wolver,
learn.
you got your angles on there now. Now put it in a Wolverine jig and set your jig to match those angles, and then finish grinding it, Al.
That's what I was doing. But how do you hold? I mean, if you have one side, if you have the one side, okay, then you turn your rod because it's it's radius, and that's what we're talking about, having radius. How do you line up this side? Because when you're turning on your Wolverine, you're going back and forth. You're going back and forth.
No, I'm using the V shaped rod, one with the notch in it. It's got the V in the back. I just set the angle to the angle you got on there now, and set your tool in the notch in the back of the V, and set that on your grinder, and then you just push down to finish grinding it. When you want to do the other side, you just flip it over. You don't wave it back and forth. You're just using it to hold the tool from rocking back and forth.
Right, and it wasn't working. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and that's so simple. I was here like hours yesterday trying to figure out how to hold that thing.
Yeah, you don't.
Like I said, I got a couple ribbons with it, but I'll get it. Thanks for the idea.
Yep.
All right, everybody be good.
Very
Everybody
cool.
Good night.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, Al.
Scott.
All right, guys, you be good.
Next up is Jeff. Jeff says he's got some stuff from the follow-up from last week's demo.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. I have a new PC. It's my first time Zooming with it. So anyways, a couple of things I wanted to cover real quick that I meant to during the demo, and that was fill in these little things and the wick. So to start off with the wick, you saw that little 3/8 inch flame I had on it. You literally have to pull the wick down so it's only about 1 millimeter off that plastic top. Anything longer than that, you're going to have this massive flame with soot flying all over the place. I've been to restaurants where they had a bigger flame. I don't know how they did it. But anyways, that's the trick with that. So if you're going to make one of these, remember that. Don't get that wick up more than 1 millimeter off the top. Also, when you order these kits, you get this massive funnel for filling them up. You know, and it just goes right in the top of the bottle like that. Seems like a good idea, except for one problem. If you've ever tried to take a bottle of paraffin oil, lamp oil, and pour that into that little tiny thing, it's not a joy. It really messes up your bench, or in my case, my table saw. So what I do when I sell these at craft fairs and stuff, I got 4-ounce bottles that I got off of Amazon. I just fill them up with the paraffin, and I include that with the funnel with the lamp when they buy it. So real quick tip there. And that was basically it. I just wanted to cover those two things. And I sent my picture into JJ this morning for the newsletter next week. Make sure you take a look at that, because as good as that looked in the demo last week, you should see how beautiful it came out when I shot it in a photo booth. It's just an incredible picture. I'm really quite proud of it. So that's
cool.
basically that's for this week. So I'm working on a project right now that's inspired by the Papa from YouTube, and I'm hoping to have it ready for next week to show.
Nice.
Very cool. Thanks, Jeff.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Next up is Patrick. What you got, Patrick?
Everybody, let me shut this dog up. Anyway, it's been so hot this week, I ain't done nothing but stay in the shop, turn the air conditioner on, and play. And I've been playing with seeds. And
That's pretty.
will you be quiet?
No.
Find a fly swatter in the pocket. Anyway, but
That's pretty.
That's pretty.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
Wow.
That is.
Oh my God.
Wow.
How'd you do the texturing, and what's the color?
I did the texturing with Merlin, and kind of like the way Wayne Clasper did his on the demo.
Okay.
And then colored it with the black is Speedball Super Black India ink.
Yeah.
And the color is Joe Sonia.
Cool.
That's really
Very
pretty.
cool.
That's real
Is
pretty.
that iridescent?
Yes.
Okay.
What was
Beautiful.
what was the black ink again?
It's Speedball Super Black.
India ink.
Dick Blick sells it.
Okay.
It's
It's
India
really
ink.
black. It's really black.
It is really black. That's the only thing I use for black is Speedball Super Black India ink. I get mine on Amazon.
Does it if you put yellow paint on top of it, does it turn yellow paint green?
It hasn't mine.
I've never
Okay.
tried it.
Okay. Yeah, I've got some of that ink that turns yellow to green. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, and the second one is another piece of cedar. I wanted to turn just a square bowl with feet on it.
Oh, wow.
Gorgeous.
That's very pretty.
Beautiful.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Nice.
Gorgeous.
What's the finish on that one?
That is spray enamel.
Very nice.
It's about 4 coats.
Too bad it's not very shiny.
It could be a little bit shinier.
Maybe you can buff it.
And then instead of having 4 feet, I wanted to make one that had 8 feet.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Now you're just showing off.
And then I turned
Call it 8 feet.
Jeez.
So what'd you do? Come from center on how many points? Is that eight points? How many points is that?
It's 8 points.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking. Okay, so from point to point, you shaved that down flat like that. How did you?
I started
hand?
started out with a square piece.
Right.
It was perfectly square, and then you cut each corner off at 45 degrees to give you the 8 points.
Really nice.
That is.
You cut the
And
shape
what I got,
That's a nice idea.
on the saw?
Like it.
I cut it with the bandsaw.
Yeah, okay.
It's a nice idea.
I
And
like
when I
it.
got through with it, I said, I'm gonna see if I can make a lid for it. So I turned it.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Talk about showing off.
That is just great.
And you couldn't get into the shop too much this week? It was too hot.
Well, that's where I've been. I turned the air conditioner on and spent the week in the shop.
That's pretty.
Beautiful.
But the
Awesome,
contrast is
Patrick.
just right.
Nice.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful work.
I love working with cedar. It's a little bit dusty, but
Yeah.
it makes the shop smell good.
Yes.
Yeah, it sure does.
That's it for me.
Thank you, Patrick. Next up is Ray Davis by request from Dane. What you got, Ray? Anything to show?
He's muted.
You're muted, Ray.
Can't hear
You're
you, Ray.
muted, Ray.
Ray, you're muted.
Okay, how about that?
Yep.
Yep,
That's better.
Okay, no, I don't have anything to show tonight. I showed everything
I
last
figured
week, so.
I figured you did. You know, whenever you pop on, I always want to get you on.
Yeah, I've got a big
for you.
meeting this weekend after next. I've got a demo being performed in my shop with 6 people and 6 lathes. So it's going to be a busy time.
Cool.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
hope it all goes. I hope it all goes well.
All
right,
sure
well,
will. They're
thanks,
nice bunch
Ray.
of guys and gals.
Yep. No, so we're going to switch over to Jim and see what Jim's got.
Okay. Ooh, I did another spiral illusion. This is 2
Yes, you did.
colors.
Wow.
This is 2 colors. So on this side it's this, and on this side it's this.
Tell what it's made of.
I love those.
Wow.
This is Cadillacs.
So pretty.
Cadillacs on this side and maple on this side.
Oh wow.
I made 4.
Nice.
I made 4 of them. Don't ask why. Anyway, I did.
Huh.
But the other one,
Because you can, Jim.
yeah, I
Because you
guess.
can, Jim.
Right?
So the other one, I started playing around and put an insert in it. This is the Cadillac side. It's got a maple insert.
So Jim, so you had how many centers? 1, 2, 3. How many?
3 centers.
3 centers?
Yeah. And on this one, this was an experiment. On the first one, I did the offset is sideways, horizontal.
Yes. Yep.
And this is a 1-inch circle. So I offset this one 1/4 of an inch this way, and this one 1/4 of an inch this way. This one. And that way, this rib goes right through the center of that other circle.
Oh, wow.
Right? That holds everything. And then all the ribs will match coming out, which suspend each other.
Right.
And this one,
Jimmy put them down too bad.
and this one, you can see it better this way, I think. On this one, I made it go towards the corner
Right.
just to see if it made any difference.
Same difference.
Okay,
But
Jim. Yeah.
What?
No, I'm saying I see where you're holding it. Okay, you have an indentation like the beginning of the not there inside. Go close where your right wing
here?
finger is. Where your
Yeah.
right hand ring finger, right? Yeah, that right there. Okay, it starts like you're dishing out right
Yes.
there. It sounds like it looks dishing out, but and then you did on the other side. So you did on the
Dish
side
out
that's
on
facing the
both
face right
sides.
now. Flip it over. So how did you hold both sides? Yes. Okay. So how did you hold both sides?
I flip it over. I
That's
have
the
to
part I
flip.
don't understand.
This was square and there's screws in here. It's screwed to a faceplate. This was square and there were screws in here in the side here. I cut that out. This is a special radius. That's the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket. It works great for here too. Anyway,
Is that Home Depot or Lowe's?
I don't know which one. It depends how I feel. But anyway, these are turned. This is where you cut. You glue two pieces of wood together and cut them.
Right.
Cut them in an angle and glue the top one to this one to the top of that, and so you end up making two. But I made 4 of these. They're all matched. But I thought I'd do this. I thought I would add more.
The part that's amazing is that when you go to both sides and there what you're looking at it, you see through it that you didn't break through it. That's the part that's amazing me. If you held it on one side and then you held it on the other side to be, same on center, to be same on center.
If you goof up and forget and offset this the wrong way, you end up with this handful of little rings about this size.
How do you know that?
That's never happened to me, but I've heard that can happen.
The idea is it's so great, Joe.
But anyway,
that idea is so great.
it's fun to do. I can't. It's only had this one's had just one coat of lacquer on it. I can't spray lacquer. It's so damn hot and humid. It grays everything as soon as you get the can out. But anyway, I spray it outside and run it in the air conditioning, and if I'm fast enough, it doesn't gray. But it's just been unbelievable.
You need an inside temperature controlled finishing room, Jim.
Yeah, you got it. It ain't gonna happen, okay? That ain't gonna happen. But anyway,
that room behind you to set up a little 6 foot by 6 foot greenhouse and vent it out that window. You can make it happen, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe you can make it. You can make a
Jim,
trade
send them
off.
out to me in New Mexico. It's dry. We have humidity. Just a little heat.
Oh man, I'll tell you, it was like 100 degrees the other day and 99% humidity.
Jim, all you gotta do
great,
is
Jim.
make a trade off with Rita. Allow her to bring in some more wood, and she'll let you, set up a drying room.
Right, you wouldn't believe how much work. She just got another batch. Oh man, you should see my shoulder. It had poison ivy, and I'll tell you, I got a dose. I don't know what I carried a piece against my shoulder or something. But if you ever get wood, make sure it doesn't have poison ivy on it. This is the second time I've done it.
Get apple cider vinegar. Put right on there. It'll take the sting right away.
What is it?
Apple cider vinegar. Just rub it right on there. It'll take it right off.
It stings like
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, thanks, Jim. We're gonna go to Todd next.
So, Todd.
What you got, Todd?
Well, you guys may remember a couple of weeks ago, I showed a tool handle that I had made and received a bunch of friendly ribbing for the fact that it had a Thompson tool coupler on it or whatever, and a Carter and Son tool itself. So that was 1/2 inch, and I needed a 3/8 inch one. So I made another one, but I thought I would up the ante a little bit and make the handle look like the Easywood tool one, so I could have the Easywood tool handle with the Thompson cutter and the and a Carter and Son tool in it. But this one you could really see the bird's eye in some places of it. But much nicer. I had a piece that was like 10 inches wide, and on the edges of it there wasn't very good bird's eye, but in the middle of it there was great bird's eye, and so this was one end of it, and and that other blue one was the other end, and I'll make a bowl out of the middle one, I hope.
I can't believe anybody would tease you about such things.
Billy, I can't either. I wish I could remember his name, Billy, but I can't. It is what it is. I had fun with it, so I thought I would do that. There's Jim again. Okay, am I there? Hello.
You're there.
Yeah,
You're here.
So yeah, I'm seeing Doug Miller's who I'm seeing. So
I see you.
Okay, so on Saturday I did a demo at a Woodcraft, and I made like four objects while I was there, and this little bowl here is one of them that I made while I was there, and I had never done a little rim on the top of a bowl like that, and the figure in this little piece of maple was just gorgeous. So I just thought I had to show that I'm actually willing to use a piece of maple with figure in it and not put color in it. And there's proof of that right there. And then I made a little goblet there, and I made 2 of the bowls, and then I take a lot of pride in this, and it took a lot of restraint, but Rita, if you're still listening, during my demo I only made 1 lighthouse. So I take a lot of pride in that. I've made friends with a guy that has a wood mill, and yesterday I was at his house and he gave me a little piece of burl. And so here's that piece of burl from yesterday that he gave me. And it really just really like it. I tried to fade it from like a teal blue up to a greenish yellow in the top, and then
that's pretty.
The inside was just really pretty piece of wood. Wasn't a lot of wood available there, but I really had fun making that little bowl yesterday. So
I like how you left the inclusion.
So that it was bigger, and my bowl was a little bigger, but there was a problem on the other side that I didn't like. And by the time I cut it out, this was a little smaller than I wanted. I wanted it to be a little bigger even than that. But yeah, I really liked that. A piece of wood doesn't have to be perfect to be even prettier. And there's a couple of holes in it and some things, and I took it off the lathe before I textured the bottom or anything, so it's just plain with a little bit of citrus oil on it from what I guess used to be Hampshire sheen.
That works. I mean, it's nice. Very nice job, Todd.
Yeah, thank you. So fun little projects. So appreciate it.
All right. Well, very cool. Very cool. All right. So we're going to go back to Dane. And we've got like 7 people on the list. We've got to go do the demo, but we've got like 7 people on the list. So if you guys stick around, we're going to get to the rest of the gallery after the demo. And over to you, Dane.
Correct. So, yeah. So with that, we have Mr. Walt Wager that is going to be inviting us into Tom Kenny's shop again. And so Walt's going to be doing a nice little demo for us. Walt, do I need to highlight you or Tom?
I'm in my own shop.
We're in your shop. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll be handling it, and so you all, I'll be doing everything. So you all remind me if you want to see a overhead shot or a tail shot. Let me know.
All right.
We'll do that.
I will do that. So real quick, so everybody, this is Walt's demo. Walt is going to turn his demonstration piece tonight the way he turns in his shop. So we will keep questions and comments till the end of the demonstration, unless Walt sequesters questions from the gallery. Otherwise, I am going to mute everybody. Walt, you'll need to unmute yourself.
I should be unmuted, am I not?
Well, I'm going to mute. Well, no, I can hear you, but I'm going to mute everybody, so it's going to mute you. So I'm muting now. And got you back now. So go ahead, sir.
All right. Yeah, and if you do have a question, I would suggest break in. If I can hear you, I'll let you know. This is kind of an experiment from my shop, because normally do it from Tom's shop, and I'm using an Air AT&T modem, We just had a thunderstorm a little while ago, so I'm not sure how the transmission is going to work. You can all tell me. So what I'm going to do tonight. Okay.
You're coming.
What I'm going to do tonight is show you this something that I've been working on, is square top holoform, and there's a video on YouTube under Walt Wager how to turn a square top holoform. So if it doesn't go well tonight, you can watch the video, and we'll see how that goes. You may have recalled I did a video. I did a presentation for Worldwide Woodturners once before on these little Native American holoforms, and I found one that had a square top. And of course, they're ceramic, so I thought, well, I wonder if you could do that of wood. And I think I came up with a way to do it, and that's what I'll show you tonight. So I'm going to put these away, and then I'll get started.
Okay, sounds good.
So basically, we're talking about a holoform here, and the first thing is layout. And this is a block of wood about 3.5 or 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. You want to get it as square as you can, as you'll see in a minute why. And I'm going to do the layout for it. Basically, starting with simply finding the center. And then since it's a holoform, I'm gonna have to hollow it, and I want a 1 1/8 inch hole to hollow through, and I'm going to set my compass according to my Forstner bit here. And draw the circle that's going to become the hole for the hollowing. Can you all see that?
Yes, sir.
So far? Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Then, if we're going to have it square in here, I want the square to be even with the circle, the hole that's going to be cut from. So this square here will represent the inside square of the holoform. So we have to give it some dimension on the outside. And if I give it 3/8 of an inch here, 3/8 on the other side, 3/8 out here. These don't have to be perfect because you're going to be working with it, throughout the whole process. But you need something as guidelines. And the top is going to be about 1/2 an inch deep. Of course, this can be as long or as short as you want, but you're going to have to hollow the form through the hole here, or else you're going to have to hollow it through the bottom if you extend it too far. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to come down about 1/2 an inch. Draw these lines. This is why it has to be square. If it's not square, the lines just don't match up. you'll get around to the fourth side and say, something's wrong here. Then we're going to extend the outside lines down along the side. Normally I do this over on the saw. I wouldn't be working on the lathe top here if this is where the camera is. So I've got it marked out now, so I can cut in. If I take it to the bandsaw and cut off the pieces, I end up with this. Any questions so far?
Clear as mud. Looks great.
Okay. So now we're ready to get started. So I'm going to put it between centers. We put a tenon on the far end here. And I found that I'll kick you over to the tailstock view. And that's one little detail here. Oh no, I didn't. I have found a center on the other side, so I can get it centered as well as I can. If I'm just going to rough this out and put a tenon on this side.
You want to go back to the overhead camera?
Let's see. There we go.
There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You get involved in doing it, and then you forget what people are looking at here. So yeah,
try to
don't
keep it straight.
hesitate. Don't hesitate. So looking at what you're all doing there and all your show and tells, you guys are pretty good. So you shouldn't have any problem with a project like this at all. And this is try to keep the chips from going all over the place.
Those. Get me out of here.
Go ahead. Somebody's had a question?
No question.
I'm not going to spend too much time roughing this because I'm going to turn it around and screw it up again anyhow. So I'm just going to get that out of the way. For the tenon, I made this little plywood thing here for the lathe I'm using, and I find it, you know, I don't have to go find the dividers or the calipers or anything. I just use that. I have a try to get the side so that it sits flat against the truck, the jaws of the truck. And a little paper. Okay, it's not perfectly round yet, but as I said, I'm going to put it in the truck. We'll finish it off later, so everything is consistent. And I usually mark the well, I can't mark it now because I'm going to round it off anyhow. So we'll get this round, make this round. See where this is going to hit. Whoa, looks good. You leave one little flat spot in there, and then later on, you'll find out, oh, that flat spot didn't go away ever. That looks pretty good. So the stages are basically layout, cut out the side, and now shaping it. And what I want to do when I shape it is I want to be careful not to mess with the square edge. As much as possible, I want to keep that, not touch that square edge. And the shape that I typically use is a shape like this. So I'm going to have a shoulder here and tail down here. So I'm watching, see what you're seeing, right up to that corner there. And the length of the piece is a judgment on your call. But I think a piece that's going to be about that wide ought to be about twice as long, or a little bit. So basically, I'm just using a 3/8" spindle guide to shape the body of this piece. Cutting down on the grain, with the grain. And so I've got my basic shape. On a lot of the Native American pieces, the bottom isn't as small. They don't taper it down to a little pin size because it had to sit flat and it held things. So I didn't want it to fall over. So the tops of these and the bottoms of these are pretty much the same size. I might take this down a little bit more, but I'm not going to make it a skinny little bottom. Just give myself a little cutting room here. And I'm looking at the profile. I'm trying not to get a big flat spot here. I'm trying to get a nice even curve all the way down. Sometimes you have to come all the way back out, pick up that cut, and then come down to the bottom. And clean up the shoulder and come into the top.
What kind of wood do you use in there, Walt?
This is basswood. It's a very light carving wood. Most of the wood carvers use a basswood, and
right.
I chose it tonight just simply because it cuts fast, and I didn't want to bore you all with a piece of hard maple. So I have a piece of sandpaper right here, and I'm just going to knock any fuzzy off of it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time sanding. Now I have to hollow it. I start with a twist drill. Even though I'm going to use a Forstner bit, I start with a twist drill because Forstner bits don't like end grain so much. Going in, they fight against the center of the Forstner. So if you drill the hole first with a twist drill, it goes a lot easier. If you didn't all know that, that's worth the price of admission right there.
That's a good tip.
I'm leaving a fair amount of room on the bottom here so I can follow it. I want to slow my speed down to about 800. I spent part of the other day helping somebody get the drill bit out of the piece of wood that they didn't back the drill bit out of soon enough. So you do want to back it out. So especially if it's green wood, this wood is dry as a bone, so it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. But if you got green wood and it gets hot and that thing gets clogged up, it gets stuck really good. Now I can put my Fosner bit in. Fortunately, I don't have a real long Fosner bit. This is a 1 1/8 inch bit. As I said when I made the circle, I did it around this bit. I could have used a bigger bit. Well, I got a lot of extra wood in there, but we're going to go with this. So I'm just going to lock it. See how far we go. See if that won't make any difference. Questions?
Nothing in the
No
chat.
questions. All right. The other thing is if you're using a Fosner bit, and especially in green wood, make sure you hold on to the chuck when you do it. I do have a Fosner. I do have an extension, but most of the time I don't need it. So now we're down to hollowing. What
We can switch to the
Everybody-
tailstock camera for
Yeah, I'm going to
that.
get rid of that. One of the reasons I like working on the small lathe is I can handle that tailstock real easily. The tailstock on my 24-inch lathe is a bit too heavy for this kind of stuff. So this is a what is it? Oh shoot, I've forgotten the name of the guy that makes these little carbide cutters. Hunter. It's a Hunter carbide bit, and the Hunter thing you can use. And up until I got that, and I just got it recently, I've been using the Sorby tools, and these work perfectly fine. The little Sorby crook necks. This is an interesting tool because rather than scrape, it cuts more than scraping, so it goes very quickly. As with any hollowing tool, crook neck hollowing tool, you want to keep the straight part of the shaft on the tool rest. You don't want it out here so it can fall down. We'll just get up here. Oh, one other thing. You do want to hollow through a round hole. If you make this hole square first by filing it out, it's very difficult to control the tool because for certain it hits the side at one point or another, and it jounces on the tool. So that's why we're really starting with a round tool. Let me see if I can go to that.
Yeah, there we go.
Right, you see that? And I'm cutting at center. And on this tool, it's like kind of a negative rake on it. Basically, it's cutting on the bottom edge of that carbide cup. You can see how it grabbed the.
They almost self-feed.
Yeah. Because I'm going to be shaping this, to get this other one out here again. Because I'm going to be shaping this side, I don't want to get too thin right in this area. And if you get too thin, and when you're shaping it, you can go right through that. At least that's what they tell me. So so I have to be careful about not getting too thin right in that one spot.
Can we go back to the tailstock camera? Well,
Oops. I'm sorry, I muted him.
oh,
My
Walt,
bad.
you need to. Walt, can you unmute yourself?
Sorry.
Okay, am I good?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't do what I said I was going to do. I was going to mark where the first jaw was. We'll see how that goes. That's pretty good.
Nailed it.
So if I'm taking it in and out, I want to know, I want to put it back in the same spot. If I can just put a mark on the top here, of course, the jaw number 1, and my jaw has paint on it, so I know it's number 1. I can find it pretty quick, and then we can go continue to follow it. I want to be cutting at or a little above center. So this is just my routine. Rather than blowing, oops, I have it on, but I have the wrong connector on here. Hold 1 second.
Oh, we can't hear it. The Zoom muffles the sound.
You can't hear it?
No.
Okay, good. I can turn it off and I can. All right. Let's see what I do with that. So that process, this is like watching paint dry. And my tool for checking that, this very fancy little piece of wire that has a 3/8 inch gap. And when that gap goes in, then I know I'm at the right right depth down inside. So I make a fair amount of hollow Christmas over it. As you, the more you do this, and I'm probably going to regret saying this, the more you do this, the faster you get at it, and where you have to work, like anything.
That makes
But if you
sense.
get too crazy, you're going to go through the side.
Are you doing the majority of your cut on the pull stroke or the push stroke?
Yes, that's a good point. This particular tool cuts best when you put it in and you pull it out like this. Let me see if I can get the overhead. Oops, wrong one. So I'll put it all the way in as far as I can go, and then pull it out and try to remember where the contour of the piece is as I pull it. I try to think about that. The thing I don't like about this tool is it's got a very short shank. It'd be much better if it were longer. But I guess they didn't want the vibration to bother anything. So I could switch over to my Sorby tool. I'm just checking back here. See, right there, I'm pretty good. I'm 3/8. The other one. And this is a scraper, so.
What speed are you hollowing at?
I'm at right now. I'm at the 800. Not. I am going to turn it up and get a little more speed here. Try right around 1,000. And you can hear right away that this is a thinner tool. It's scraping. It's not cutting, and you get some of that vibration. There's my little remote here. And the way you sharpen these tools, if you put that on a grinder, it's gone, and you don't have a tool anymore because there's not a lot of metal there. So I just take the diamond hone and try to raise a small burr. You know, you can make these as thick or as thin as you want. They're decorative pieces, and especially with this basswood, is really light. So if you depends on how much time you want to spend doing this. I'm pretty much down to the bottom.
Walter, why are you not blowing it out instead of taking that out every time?
Because I don't want sawdust all over the shop.
Okay.
I mean, I try to localize the sawdust as much as possible, and I turn the AC off. I have a filter on the AC that collects. You would be surprised at how much dust the filter collects, even if you're trying to keep it, contained. All right, so one more thing, one more little tool for people who make small hollow forms. This is a Sorby teardrop scraper. It's got a negative rake. If you can see that the tool is canted downwards when it's held like this. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so it's a negative rake scraper, and even so, it is a scraper.
What speed are you turning?
Right now, about 700. You sharpen this the same way as I sharpened the other one. You don't put it on the. I don't put it on the grinder. I just create the burr with a diamond file like that, and that's enough of a burr to smooth it out. It's pretty smooth in there. So the real trick of this, we're just so far made a small hollow form, but the trick is blending this part into the top to create that square. And what I'm using to do that is something called a microplane tool. You can buy them at the kitchen store for making lemon zest or lime zest, but these were originally made for wood working. I don't think that microplane actually makes these anymore, but you can find them. I have one here. This is from Sears Roebuck back when they were in business, and it fits onto a bandsaw. But it's the same thing.
Wow.
It's a rasp or a plane cut onto stainless steel into little sharp edges. So if I take this microplane, I can start carving out the side here. This is why I don't want it so thin up here, because I'm going to blend that side into the top. I'm going to taper the top down toward the center to the line that I want, the thickness that I want the top to be. And I prefer working a little bit on all the sides instead of doing one side completely, working on all the sides a little bit at a time so that I can kind of watch the balance if I'm getting crazy with it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, you want to keep this hand away from that thing, this sharp. I take my dust mask off now. I mean, my face mask. See it from an end view.
You're going from the shoulder to the.
Yeah, I'm working from the
square.
shoulder down to the corner. Usually what happens is when you're cutting it on the bandsaw, it's hard. Let me see if I get it overhead again. If it's this corner is critical, and you're going to have a little bit of mark from the bandsaw. You're going to take that out, but you want it to blend into the top, so you have to get the top down here first, so that you can blend that in. Now, as soon as I say this, I know that some of you are thinking of better ways of doing it, and when you figure that out, let me know. You can use a rasp. There's a set of Japanese wood rasps that would be very good for this. Now, if you're gonna paint it anyhow, or do something, like wood burning and surface enhancement, you don't need to use something like burl. This butternut or tupelo or basswood are perfectly good woods, and they're soft enough to use with a microplane. I wouldn't want to use persimmon or something like that. Be here all day. Now these come in different shapes, so in different sizes. So I also have a small round microplane and a little square microplane that I can get into the corners with and clean that up. And what I'm looking for here is when I round this off, that this corner comes into the body of the piece itself. So it doesn't look like it was just pasted on there. With special attention to that groove that's created by the bandsaw. So let's see if I can get this one piece down here. So if I take this over to my carving bench, I can work on it vertically rather than horizontally, and I can see better how the curve is blending in. But you can get an idea of how that blends in.
Yes.
And then to do the top, to do the corners, I use a little square one and just come in. Actually, you could use the big square one for this because I got plenty of room in there.
Walt, would a corner chisel work for that?
It might. You mean like a reciprocating chisel?
No.
I know. You mean like a mortising chisel?
Yeah, a mortising, a corner chisel for mortising. They're spring loaded.
It might. I don't have one. Let me know how that works. When you do yours, let me know how it works. I just don't have one of those. But somebody else mentioned it one time. I said, well, the only thing you can't do, you can't make the square hole first and then hollow it. So I don't know how you would hold it for a mortising chisel, but I'm sure everybody's very inventive, and I'm sure somebody can figure that out.
I'd be worried about it splitting out the wood at the bottom.
Yeah, you're talking about it. You're talking about end grain here. Now it's not, the end grain piece isn't very long because we hollowed it. So, I'm working down on a piece that's about 3/16 of an inch thick. A little bit more than that. Almost finished here with this top.
Lynn wants to know if that would be easier to do if it was in the chuck.
Normally does
easier
with
to do
that
on a
carving bench.
I normally I have a well, let me show you. I didn't think about this because I'm not on the right lathe for it, but what did I do with that? I took it out. I took it out of its stand and I put it somewhere, and I didn't plan to show it to you. So
no, that's okay.
By the time I find it, you'll all be asleep. So anyhow, yes, I have it in the carving stand, and in the carving stand, it's steady, and I can look straight down on it and chisel it. One of those what do you call them?
It's like the ones they sell, or ones that Dewey and Scott made their own versions of that work really well.
Like the ones that go in the ones that go in the banjo.
Yes.
Yeah, they go in. You can put one in the banjo, but it doesn't fit on the mini lathe. It's a 1 inch. It's a 1 inch post.
Right.
So on the big lathe, I can put it in the banjo, or I have it on the I have a table over there with a receptacle for it. But and usually it's right there, but I must have taken it out for some reason. I don't even know why I took it out, but I don't see it. I'm sorry about that. If I thought about it, I would have.
Oh no, it's okay.
Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm tapering this down into the body, so it doesn't look like it's square. In other words, let's see, I can show you that.
Point it towards the tailstock. There we go.
Okay, there you go. So what I want to do is I want to taper it in like this, so that it looks like it's part of the inside. In other words, you've got these edges on it here, and those edges can be taken off with these little microplanes or with a rasp of some sort, you know, a little file. And let me get the other one here done. I think one of the hardest things, remember you have end grain here. This is all end grain. This is side grain. But the hardest thing to do is to get that blend from the side down to the round piece. So there's quite a bit more wood that has to come off of here in order to get that, make that blend off of there. So even though it's been made somewhat square on the inside, I still have a considerable amount of work to do. I'll just do one piece right here. On the outside, you get that down to where I want it. Again, this is tapered up toward the top. So it's tapered this way, and it's also on the inside tapered down into the piece, so that it just doesn't look like it was stuck on there. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And then, as I said, most of these things I'll decorate or paint. Here's a piece that was painted kind of following a piece of pottery that I saw from Acoma Pottery that had a design on it. This isn't the same design, but it's the same idea. And the white on there is milk paint. If you've never used milk paint, milk paint sticks to wood amazingly well, and it builds enough so you can sand it down to 1200 grit, so you can be very smooth, and then you can paint on it or draw on it or use your woodpecker laser to put a design on it.
It almost looks like porcelain.
Yeah, you can spray it and buff it. Milk paint's an amazing thing. I guess maybe I told the story that I was at a symposium one time and I won a raffle on milk paint. So I have enough milk paint for the rest of my life. But it goes a long way. It's expensive stuff, but it goes a long way. And when I'm sanding this, and I don't think I put one out, maybe I did. I use a sanding stick, which is basically here's one. It's a piece of sandpaper taped to a popsicle stick. You come in here like this one. I've been I don't know what I was saying. Oh, I was sanding a lead pencil with this one. So I've got some, I'll have to clean that up, but that's what's this doing. It's leaving the graphite from the lead pencil. But that will smooth it out pretty quickly. And then you can use it on the inside. Now this particular one was done out of cypress. So that's a natural wood finish. It's been wood burned and decorated with India ink pens.
Wow. On the milk paint, do you use the powdered stuff and mix it yourself?
Yeah, yes, because it doesn't keep real well. And so, I mean, once it's mixed, so I mix up what I need, and you do have to let it sit a little while to hydrate. I mean, you don't mix it and use it immediately. You mix it and then use it maybe and use it an hour later or next day. But you're not going to keep it for 2 weeks in any kind of container. Now you can buy something at like Walmart or some other store that says it's milk paint, but it's really not. It's an acrylic paint, matte acrylic paint. It's not. It doesn't have the casing in it that sticks to the wood so well. So you can see that the rest of it is like anything else. A lot of it is just the finishing touches that you put on it, how much you want to sand, what kind of integration you want, sanding off the end grain on the top, which is probably better done when you're actually first turning it to make a good clean pass over the top to get that end grain nice and smooth as you can with the gouge instead of doing it like I'm doing it now. But that's what has to happen. Well, I mean, basically that's it, folks. Is there any other questions that you want to ask? Now, parting it off is fairly simple. I'm not going to part it off because I'll continue to work on it. But what I do is I'll find my I hear you can part it off from either side. This one I have quite a lot of waste wood down here, so I could part it from this side. But if you only have a little bit of waste wood, you can make a jam chuck.
Reverse it.
I see where I put my you can make a jam chuck on this side. It doesn't have to be square. It's gonna, if you did a good job with your square, it's gonna center out pretty well. Like that. And remember, you had a round hole in here to start with, so you can bring the tailstock up and cut it off from this side if that's the way you do it. The what else was I going to tell you? Oh, the cheater's way of doing it. You can take your piece of wood, instead of taking it to the bandsaw, make a piece like this before you start, glue it down there like that, and you're on your way.
Oh, wow.
Except that if you want to use the same kind of wood that you're starting with. But it won't give you, of course, it won't give you that continuous grain look, because you're going to have a joint in there. Now, if you're going to paint, if you're going to paint it, it isn't going to make a whole lot of difference. But if you're going to use natural wood, it's better to go the other way. So as I said on YouTube, I made a video on it. It's called "Turning a Square Top Holoform," and
we posted the link earlier.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
And if anybody that finds another way to do it, or has a great idea, and it comes up and tries it, and says, "Boy, this really works well," please let me know, because I like to learn.
Oh
too.
yeah, for sure. I know Billy's going to figure out the mortise chisel and see if that works. He'll report back.
Try it out. It might work if you start with something like this and you leave enough room to mount it.
Right.
Later.
Make it separately.
I don't know.
I don't think they're made for end grain though. That's the only thing.
No, they're not. Yeah, it probably 9 times out of 10, it's going to split out. It's going to tear the bottom out.
Yeah, that's what worries me.
You might be able to do some hidden dowels on the underside and pin it that way with some epoxy.
The way you laid it out and cut it on the bandsaw is probably just as easy.
Do what?
Right, but what we're talking about, Al, is the inside.
Oh, the way
making
the way I
inside
the way I
square.
did it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can see, you know, I mean, it didn't take me that long to get this far, but I spent
Oh.
probably twice as much time again getting it to the point where it's ready to decorate. Just because you have to hand sand some of this stuff down to make it, you know, make it join in and work a little bit more with the files to make the edges what you want them to be. So, but that's the essence of it. And
how would you go about
anybody
laying
can
out
do it.
how would you go about laying out the design elements, you know, for the, you know, putting the ink and dye on it or doing the pyro?
Well, you asked the question, so you just have to wait 1 minute.
Okay, no problem.
Um,
This is a fantastic demo, Walt.
Let's see, I want this.
I agree, Dane. I was waiting to find out how he did that shoulder. I just don't think my arms can do that.
All right.
I think the hardest part is probably getting them all exactly the same or close enough to the same that they look, you know.
Yeah, they don't all have to be exactly the same. You know, it is a handmade piece. And even if you look at a lot of the ceramics, you don't see that. It doesn't pop out at you that, oh, they're not all perfectly even. But this is the way. I think I showed you this in another demonstration, but I'll do it here real quick. There's a video on making these index wheels. Actually, there's the next issue of Fundamentals that comes out from AAW has an article on this, but there's also a video, I believe, how to make your own index wheel. Now you can use the index on the lathe, but it's awkward. There's only 24 notions. If you use polar graph paper and paste it to a piece of masonite, you can make as many up to, I have 48 to 56 and the 60 flat.
You can use the index calculator on the website, and then you can print out the indexes you want and just make your own wheel.
Right. It's called Graph Paper Maker. If you go to Graph Paper Maker and select polar graph, you can make any kind of graph you want.
Dave has it all set up on the website. All you got to do is type in how many spaces you want, and it'll print it out for you.
Right. Exactly.
Slick.
Oh, you mean he's got all the PDF files out there?
You type it into he's got a program set up on there. You type in, if you want 11 spaces, you type in 11 spaces and it draws it out for you, and you just hit print and it'll print it on your printer.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's the way it works. I'm just getting a pencil here. So
Dave has made it real easy for us.
Oh, there's my indexing set up. It's just a piece of wood, a popsicle stick, the index wheel, and a platform that allows me to draw lines this way. Give you the top. Let's see, what are we on?
That's so simple, it's stupid.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I could even do
And then
that.
to do So that gets you your vertical line and your horizontal lines. You just have to,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then you paint your design in there. That's the way I do it.
Wow.
You know,
Nice.
you can do anything. You can do anything with your design. You don't have to have it square. You can make
Right.
chevrons. You know, you can do a design like this where you're doing chevrons. You can come back up this way, there's no end to the number of designs that you can make with these things. And
Right.
I'll sit down and watch TV with a piece of graph paper, and I have a whole notebook full of designs that I make that I like to put on the wood. So there you go. The W for Walt.
Wow. That is
Well, thank you all for the
that is so
invitation.
that is so intuitive,
Thank you, Walt. That's just awesome.
right?
You're welcome. I'm glad it worked.
Fantastic.
I'm glad the internet worked.
Great
Me too.
demo.
Yes, yeah. Everything came through perfect. Cameras were great. Sound was great. And then the
Great.
turning and the demonstrator was fabulous.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
Nice job.
All right. Well, folks, if anybody has any questions, now's the time to ask.
We'll see how y'all do with this. If you come up with some great idea, let me know. With regard to this, I know you all have great ideas. So, like
unique piece for sure.
The eight legged box that you all, not box, bowl with the top on it. That's a great idea.
Right. Good old Mr. Duxbury.
Okay. Take care. Right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Walt, so much.
Thank you for sharing. Right. Really, that was very enjoyable.
What a great demonstration we just had there, folks. Let's see. Is Captain Eddie still on? Nope. He had to pop off. All right. Well, with that, let's go to Mr. Rhodes. I think Dave is going to show us something on our website. If you got my message earlier.
Where am I? There I am. Okay.
There you are.
We see you.
Okay. You can see me and you should be able to hear me too.
Yes, sir.
Let's see what we can do here. I need to bring up a website. I'm going to have to play around just a moment. There's the website, and let's see if we can now bring up the share. There it is. Okay, share that. I was actually hoping to get around to pointing out a few things related to the apps that we have here, because we're always talking about these things. And we do have things that include calculating segments, because we've been talking about segments in the past. And whoops, my system is jumping around just a tad. All right. If you want to create segments, there's something that's really convenient trying to create segments. We can, you can ignore the scale. You can ignore the sheet height normally.
Can you go back to the beginning and tell us how you got to this page?
Pardon me? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
He wants to know how you got to this particular page.
Okay. Let's back up in that case. We are looking at, if you go to FYI, we have applications, and we have several applications out here. And I keep trying to add things in as we need them. Not really a lot added recently because I
don't think there are things that really needed to be added. But if you have a project height, this one only works up to 10 inches high at the moment. Well, maybe a little higher. Let's see. Okay. 10.5 inches. So what that's doing is it's saying I've got some space on this graphic screen, and it's going to be using about 10.5 inches, assuming that the project we're making is 10.5. You can then either specify the number of layers that you want, or you can specify the thickness of the layers that you're cutting. So if you had a piece of wood and you knew that it was an inch and a half, half inch, you'd set this to an inch and a half. If you plan on planing it to a particular size, you can specify the layer count. I want to have 15 layers, let's say. That one's going to get me 9, 10, 11, 12 layers. If you look down here now, there are 12 layers. You can take your this little spot here, move it in and say, I want my shape to look something like this. Very simplistic, I hope. So you can create a shape and you say, now I need the layer.
Yeah, it's really cool.
We've got a point over here and a point over here that are important for you to know. If you try to drag this thing as a whole, it won't work. But if you try to drag this, it'll let you move it into place. Say, okay, I've got some layers I'm putting in. And in some cases, the layers are all going to be the same just because you're using the same piece of wood. They're going to be the same thickness, whatever. And you can just drag it in. But if you're trying to save wood, I guess, you could say you want to try to save wood. You can say, well, I actually want to make this a little narrower. And you can say, okay, whoops. Did I just do that? I did.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. I've got an extra button on my mouse, and it tends to cause me to shoot things around from time to time. So I can drag this in and I can say each layer is going to be a different thickness. I don't think that I'd bother doing that, but if you wanted, you could do that. And rather not thickness, but width. This would turn out to be the overlap that you'd have between the layers. If you want less overlap, you can move it in again, as I was saying. Then if you go down here, you're going to find out the exact angle that things have to be cut to get what you want, and the length to the outer edge, and the thickness that it thinks it needs to be in this case. So you get all the dimensional information you need. So you can cut this thing. Doesn't give you the great picture that Bob might do in terms of the pattern and the changing pattern that you want around the outside, but it gives you the general cutting sizes for each layer. I hope that provides some information. And this wasn't working 2 weeks ago or something. We now have a change in size. If you're doing an open segment, you got to say yes, and it actually changes the lengths here to compensate for the fact that you're planning on leaving it open. And the angle changes slightly depending on whether you're doing open or closed segments. It's assuming that the open segments are 70%. Someplace I found that the typical opening means that you have 30% open between the segments. I also noticed there was some place that had 66, but I didn't set it up to do both of those. So if you wanted a 66%, let me know. I'll make a modification for this. Oh, and then this is a pain in the neck right here in terms of if you're going out in the shop to do it, you don't want to carry your computer out, you can print the statistics here and take that out into the shop and know all the segments, how long they should be. Again, long meaning or length right here. And it'll tell you what the angle is for each cut and the thickness.
Wow.
Okay, so I hope that gives you some information about that particular app. We also keep talking about making polar graphics. Well, I've got two different ways of doing it. You can either go to somebody else's site, and I think we were just referencing this particular one, which works just great, but I also decided that I wanted to make something that was going to be as simplistic as possible. So I decided that going to the apps and going to the index wheel, you can simply say how many holes, how many slots you want. Okay, this one's got 11. If you wanted 24, you can specify 24. And then you can print this page and you get the same sort of information you can get elsewhere. It might be as simple. It might be a little harder. I don't know what you folks think about it, but this will print this index wheel. Does that give you any new features? I hope it makes you feel comfortable going here. Also, we
how about our
if we're doing a
yeah
board, if we're doing a bowl in a board, you can also do a bowl in a board. This tells you what you're going to be cutting. I'm hitting somebody here. So if I'm going to take an individual board, I think everybody remembers we had a demonstration on how to cut a bowl in a board out, and we need to know some information. And this gives the information that you'd normally require for cutting a bowl in the board. The angles that are required, the distances across the top for where you'd cut the first slice at an angle, the next slice, the next slice, the next slice. All that information is available here. It specifies where to move. This one is 44-degree angle and a 50 and a 56 and a 62 and a 68. And again, we can print this thing out so that we don't have to take the computer. Oh, and just in case you don't remember where the demo is and you want to find out how to do this again, you can always check the demo itself out, because not everybody's going to remember how to deal with this.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Let's go back. And again, if we're doing an urn, you want to know what the volume is? Well, how about
close?
What shape? What shape can I use? How about that?
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Again, if you're cutting something, this is the center of your urn, and moving outward, you can do something that's similar to another page. In other words, you can create the shape that you might have wanted for the urn, and then you want to say, well, I need to cut some layers. Whoops, son of a gun. I seem to like to do that, don't I? Back to it.
Time for a new mouse.
It's time for a new mouse. This mouse is really exciting. I never know where I'm at. Anyway, we can cut a different shape urn. whatever it happens to be. And we're simply going to move out this and say, okay, there we go. What this is going to do, you don't go out, son of a gun. Bad day today. How about that? Okay, you don't go out all the way I'm doing it. I know what the secret is. I'm trying to do this left-handed. I'm going to switch over to right-handed in a moment here. Okay, why am I doing that? I have a table that's inconvenient today. All right, let's try one more time here. Okay. What you do is you try to line this thing up so it has things about in the center. I'm now trying to do this without that table, darn it. Oh, I gotta find a table. My mouse isn't going to work when it's on my knee. There we go. Okay. We move it about like this, trying to specify, that's about it. That's about it. Somebody just kicked my table.
Yeah.
And about there. We now can determine what the volume is going to be or what it could take care of. The height is about 10 inches tall, and this would be the volume. That's the volume.
Big enough for a couple people.
It's, yeah, pretty big. Pretty big. Couple of people. So if that helps at all, I hope you give it a try. Oh, by the way, what did that volume mean? Okay, we have volumes in both centimeters and cubic inches. Cubic inches, cubic centimeters. And I think the number we were just looking at was in cubic centimeters. That's why the number was so enormous. So if we had somebody that was at 240 pounds, oh boy, I broke it again. There we go.
No, that's correct. The cubic centimeters for an urn, your cubic centimeters is weight. So that's the correct.
Okay, there we go. Anyway, those things are available for you if you've got time and interest. Also, I want to remind people that if you have something that's on YouTube, or you have somebody that's a non-member that you think we ought to mention because their website is just fantastic, please let me know, because I want to be able to put their YouTube channel here. Also, if we have members that have Instagram, please put your Instagram address in the chat and I'll add it to the website here. What else do we have? We have finishes. We have the websites themselves. We have some free templates that might help you out. They're from past meetings, and somebody provided some sort of a template.
All kinds of good
stuff. If you have a template
stuff.
you want to share, please let me know. And the formats that are available are JPEG, which would just be a plain drawing, and SVG if it can be used on a CNC type machine. And we actually have some
or a 3D printer.
Or a 3D printer, and we actually have some that are intended to be used for embroidery. We have at least 3 that are intended for embroidery for this logo. So if you know
Right.
somebody that can do embroidery for you, it's available.
What a
We have a
great
glossary if you're having
information.
trouble finding things. You hear some phrase that's making no sense, or you have no idea what it is. You can try looking here. You might find it in our glossary. And if the phrase is an H item, you can actually search for just the hollowing tool, let's say. I have no idea what we're going to find under these various things, but it does speed things up a little bit. If you're trying to find out what something is, may not be the greatest list, but if you've got something else you'd like to have in the glossary, let me know, please. We have a
Write
section
it
on
up in an email
frequently
and
asked.
submit it.
We have a section on frequently asked questions, and you might find that there. And if you have a question and you send it in to me, I'll try to put it up. Safety, we noticed from Sue last week that there are items under safety. And under safety, I have two columns over on the right here. Don't know that this works very well on a phone, but if you're using your computer, you have the table of contents, so you don't have to go down through everything scrolling. You can jump directly to something that might be tool rest safety. If you want to check out some other site, you can always check out Paul Hannaby's site, which we were discussing last week in safety, or the AAW safety materials or OSHA materials. I was trying to get a lot in here. I have to admit, I'm not updating it with everything Sue comments about every week. I probably should, but it has quite a bit of the material in here on all sorts of topics.
There's a lot of info in there.
We have things on toxic woods. You really should check this out if you're having a problem. We have the direct link to the toxicity database here. So rather than trying to come up with all this information that has already been determined, we had Sue discussing the toxicity database, what things are irritants to the eyes, which ones affect the lungs, and the level of irritation or danger, as the case happens to be. So you might want to check that out. I'm having a bit of problems here in terms of, there we go. Come on, go away. I'm getting a little shared message. Did we just jump back to the right place, or did I change screens and
We're back to woods.
Okay, good. You can see
Woods
what
to work with caution.
Okay. We have the last three meetings here. We should have the last three meetings here if you want to find the last three meetings, or you can go to YouTube. These are actually off YouTube, obviously, but I put them here on the website. We have the latest newsletter. There it goes. So you can always check out the latest newsletter. You can also download it. You can download it by asking it to download. And I've sped this up a bit, so you can now get a list of all the old newsletters. There are one or two available at the moment.
Yeah, there's a couple, huh?
Okay, yeah, we got. Yeah, I'd say Joaquin has done an incredible job of getting us newsletters, that's for sure. And you can either download them or you can open them locally. Or you can copy the link if you're going to take it someplace else. Don't know why you'd want to copy the link well, I won't say that. A lot of people might want to copy the link. If you've got your own website and you happen to have a newsletter that you want to actually show on your website for some other reason, you can grab the link. We have no compunction about you copying anything off this site. And those folks that are thinking about the level up, please know I'm putting information up about level up, including what turning classes there'll be, which off-lathe classes there'll be, the days where the schedule in essence, costs, folks that are doing things, materials you have to bring or things that will be there already. And we're slowly putting on information about the individual classes and the people that are being the coaches, teachers, the anchors. So hopefully you can get all the information you need about these. If you want,
spark some interest where you can ask.
That's right. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, and let's see, we also have a lot of information about things like glues and tools and miscellaneous equipment and finishes. We're always getting people asking, well, how can I find out about some sort of, let's say, wood bleach or the chameleon paints? We find out about those things and the acrylics. We have lots of information about the finishes. And again, we can go down this right side and find out about the seals or the chameleon paints or the India inks. And hopefully you can jump right to the information. Now, I don't guarantee we have everything, but we've got a few pieces of information there, that's for sure. And if you are somebody that's going to provide us with a tour of your shop, you end up, no, if you had a new shop or you have ideas about what people should think about if they're creating a new shop, you can let me know, because I'm trying to provide things, thoughtful thoughts about what you should think about when you're planning on putting together your shop. This all happened when Doug Rose started putting together his shop, and people started saying, oh, we ought to know more about what we need to think about when we plan our new shop. So
Yeah,
this may be a bit dated in terms of how long ago did he get his new shop? 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. So some of this stuff. But if you have an idea, because you're putting a new shop together and you had to think about it, let me know, because it's probably good that somebody else find out about it. We also have all the articles on how to here online. The articles refer to a combination of, if you've sent in an article that we should be aware of, it's going here. And if it's in the newsletter, it's going in this area. So we have how-to articles, we have project articles, we have tool articles and tip articles, and I'm trying to make sure that things are in there under newsletter, so you can just go to the newsletter. The tips and hints are things that we've been doing in terms of every once in a while we have a meeting that's on tips and hints, and I keep adding things here. If you've made a tool recently, I tried to chop it out as a video to show people. If you did something unusual with finishes, I've tried putting that there. And if you've done a recovery, I've been specifying your recovery. But all the demos are currently listed right here. So you should be able to find the demos. What do I want to say here? You may not know how to do this. You have to click this little symbol, and then it gives you a list of all the demos that we've had over the last few years.
There's been a couple.
Just a couple of demos here back to 2021. I guess we only go back to 2022.
Oh.
And of course, I haven't updated this. I'm trying to come up with a slightly different way of dealing with this. Right now, I have to create something that goes in the video section or the article section, and I have to make a duplicate of it to go up into this area. I don't want to keep making duplicates and putting them on the website. So I'm trying to come up with a way to, when I create something for here, it also ends up in here automatically. So this is about 3 weeks old, but I'm going to figure that out yet. We have a tribute to Eddie. And we have the most recent article that was in the newsletter sitting here on the front page, if you're curious about that. Also, if you happen to not have your area represented, let me know and I'll add your area to it. All you have to do to get that done is put it in the chat, and I'll glance at it in the chat. You don't have to go too far to do it.
Yeah, just your
chats are available.
city.
Chats are available just like the newsletters are. So if you want to chat, you got it. And these go back to 2021. All right. Oh gosh, all the way back to 2020. I've forgotten how far back these things go. Now, I have to admit, these chats are not exactly the easiest to examine, but I've made at least some effort to make them readable by separating them a little bit, but they're by time. The time schedule is when it shows up on my screen on the Pacific Coast, not your time. Sorry about that, folks. Let's see if I can get over to YouTube and point out what we've got here. I have to, come on, machine. Come on, machine. Believe it or not, I can't go to my own.
Folks, anybody been turning anything? Hey, we got sound.
There it is. Okay, we've got YouTube, and YouTube is set up so that if you go to Worldwide Woodturners 1, you'll find this page, and on this page you'll find the videos, the popular videos, the meetings, the tutorials, the tools you can make, and the tips and hints, and the finishing. So if you didn't like it on the website, you can always find it right here under Worldwide Woodturners 1. Hope that gives you a good idea of what's available on the website and YouTube. Are there any questions?
That's pretty inclusive.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Anybody have any questions for Dave on the website or the YouTube?
Not really a question. I've shared the website with several folks, and everybody that's ever gone and looked at it has come back and said, "I cannot believe there's that much information in one place." They've done a fantastic job of bringing it all together to one spot so that we can find it relatively easily. Thank you.
Well,
Yes,
I have
yes.
one final request
of
here
work.
that I just realized. We haven't for almost 6 months been getting anything new in our events. Nobody seems to be giving me event information. If you've got an event that you're aware of, let me know about it. We'll add it to our list of events. Right now, the only thing that's sitting here are the recurring events that were set up a little while back. So if you happen to know of an event that's going on, let me know about it.
There's
And we'll
this
put it on our calendar.
there's this level up happening in September 2026.
Oh, well,
It
that
should be
one
on
that
there.
one is on this calendar, but
Okay.
but it's not really
Well,
visible
yeah.
at the moment. I mean, it's a
Year out.
little ways away.
Been
And
truncated.
for a while, we were getting quite a few things from other people, from other places. One-off items, and I'm happy to put a one-off item on here. They don't have to be recurring. Just thought I'd mention that.
Right.
Very cool, Dave.
Okay.
Thank you for all the hard work you put into this. It's amazing.
My pleasure. Oh,
Here,
does
replace-
everybody know that we have the enthusiasm link? We have a link to a page that says if you want to, it used to be on the front page, but we kind of ran out of space and I decided I would move things over. If you happen to be interested in a t-shirt or a cap or an embroidery format or club stickers, I wonder if we still have club stickers available. Or you wanted to create your own
I'm not
business
sure. I
card.
think we're out of it now.
Are we out of them? I should check with Eddie and
Yeah, I believe so.
delete this. You think they're gone? Okay, I'm gonna.
He may have some left. I'm not sure. I can Eddie on it.
Okay. Anyway, so we have an enthusiasm page, so to speak. We're not selling anything. These are all things that you just do because you're in the mood to do it. You want a cap. If you want a cap,
Purchase.
they're available. If you want a t-shirt, they are available. Oh, and they're not available through us. You check out what this says, and it tells you what you have to do to get the item. Just thought I'd point that out. Okay, I don't know if there's anything else I can say. If you have no other questions, I have nothing else available on the website. That's pretty much it. Oh, I guess there is. Do we want to start thinking about this bartering page? Haven't seen a lot of activity there in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, we
Much
have a
activity
bartering
on that
page. If you
at
want
all.
to try to barter with somebody else, we need to start advertising this. When I say advertising it, I don't mean marketing, but remind people you can come over here and say that you want to try to barter something away. And then we need to get people to start coming over to actually look at the page. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of a quiet item here. We also have a page here that's suggestion board. If you have some suggestions that you're looking for or you want to provide, you might come over here to this board and see if you can provide it. The only difference between this and the other sections, this one you have to actually sign in for because we don't want random garbage. So you have to actually say, hey, I want to be a member of the
and a password
forum. Right. You have to register, you have to log in, and then you get to see what it's got to say for you. username, password, and we try to keep it clean.
Yeah.
Okay, that's definitely.
And there's been people that's used the barter page, and it's been a great success for them on making non-monetary trades.
That's right. It's only non-monetary trades.
Yeah. Sales page.
All right. So if
All
you're
right, well,
interested,
with that, if nobody has any questions for Dave on the barter page or the website or YouTube, we can let him go.
okay, I'll stop.
Silence has everything was covered.
Dave, that is the most interesting stuff. I mean, the dues for this club should be enormous.
Oh, they are. They're astronomical.
I swear.
I need to increase. I hear you. I'm working on it.
At least 20%, right? 20%, right?
There you go.
I was thinking 150%.
There we go. Absolutely.
Right.
Gotta love the math.
Dave, thank you so much.
All right, Dave, thank you very much for taking us on a tour in the digital world of worldwidewoodturners.org. I so appreciate it. And I know there was at least 65 people on that were appreciating it as well. So with that, 6:20, we got about 40 minutes left in the meeting. And I think we got about folks hanging on to show their gallery pieces. Let's swing back to Matt and see what we have for gallery.
All right. Well, next up for gallery is James Carter. So what you got, James?
Actually, next week I am the demonstrator. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay, good. Just making sure I'm on 1 ear because my batteries are running out. Next week I'm actually the demonstrator, and this is what I'm going to be doing next week. It's inside out ornaments. Inside out turned ornaments. This is my concept, design, whatever you want to call it, on my take on it. But it'll be a fairly in-depth discussion from wood selection all the way through to final turn and finish. These are a few that I've done over the past years. This is the first little guy I ever did. When I started doing this piece. So if you want to see how to make these, come back next week and I'll walk you through it. So
sounds good, James. I appreciate it, buddy.
No problem. Right, thank you, James. Okay. Next up is Victor. What you got, Victor?
Alrighty. Got an ambrosia maple bowl that I turned a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't able to show up last week or anything. So it's just a smidge over 7 inches. It's got the main ambrosia stripe run right through here. All the bug holes are filled with black walnut dust because I thought it played well with the interesting end grain from the ambrosia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And this side is really cool. And like I say, that's bug holes and then filled with black walnut sawdust. So that's the one. And like I say, about 7.5 inches. Well, just over 7 inches in diameter. And next that I just completed just a few days ago is a vase out of an applewood branch.
Wow.
It's 9.5 inches tall, 4.5 inches in diameter, and it had a bark inclusion in the branch.
Wow.
Cool.
So that goes into the inside. And let's see, it's spalted and it has this kind of rusty orange color here on this side.
Lots of character.
And of course, can't see inside because I don't have good light, but then this spalt, is all the way through. So
gorgeous.
What do you use to hollow with?
Got I came into a little bit of extra cash. I'll keep showing this. So I bought the 24-inch Sorby gooseneck, and that's what got me to the bottom of this, because before all I had was the 20-inch, which wouldn't have reached.
Right.
So, and then this just has Howard Feed and Wax on it, and the Maple Bowl has Brad's tongue wax on it.
Okay,
Really pretty.
very nice. Hey, can you do me a favor, Victor?
Maybe.
Next time you come into extra cash, can you send it to me?
I'm sorry, say again.
Next time you come into extra cash, send it to me.
Ash?
No.
Cash. Like
cash.
Oh, cash. Okay, cash.
Cash.
Well, I got that
Yeah,
cash
I
from,
could use a little of that.
playing landscaper at my wife's medical office, and I spent 3 hours trimming back overgrown holly hedge. So they paid me $250.
Nice. Did you keep the holly?
No, I took the money and ran off to Klingspor.
Right. Did you keep the holly though?
Oh no, there was no. I was just trimming off all the.
Oh, okay. You were just reshaping them. Doing it a haircut.
There was no. Yeah. So the employees could see when they were leaving the employee parking lot.
Yeah. All right. For the bosses.
No, I've got a couple holly on my property that I'm so tempted to cut down, but not yet.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I had for tonight.
Very good.
Cool.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Guys,
you, sir.
some pretty pieces.
Time because this one might be sold. I had a person on live on today when I was on, and they're really thinking about it. So
Cool. Nice. Good luck. I hope it sells. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks. That's all I got.
Next up is Terry. What you got, Terry?
Oh, I haven't been doing a whole lot. I haven't been out in the shop much. I had a lot going on around here, and I'm a full-time caregiver. But I did get out there this week playing with a piece I found on the street. I found a piece of China berry. I never turned it for. I the lighthouse out of it. I don't know how much you can see it, but it's this stump. It come out pretty nice. I like the bark, and I like the color. And then I've been playing with the lights, as you can see. They come out pretty nice, but I really haven't found what I really. This one's kind of neat. If you see all the flickering in there, this is a light that I got from the Dollar Tree, and it comes with these little prism things in it. And I didn't know what they were for. I still can't get it in front of the camera there. These little prism things, so I think they were just to throw down in there and reflect the light. But I drilled a hole in it and hooked it on a wire and dropped it down in. And it really gives it a pretty sharp detail. It's like that all the time, and it changes colors. As you can see, it goes from blue to green and red.
Cool.
And I kind of like them, but it's still a love-hate relationship. Because of the lights themselves. These are the lights, and these came from the Dollar Tree, and you get one in a package for $1.25, and it comes with 3 or 4 of those little prism things. The problem with it is it's real cheap, and to shut it on and off, you have to turn it to actually take the pressure off of the battery, and it doesn't have a timer on it. So it's on or off. So it's kind of inconvenient. I don't know how long it'll last. I've had some run for a few days and they're holding up pretty good. But they give a nice effect, but I'm still playing with some of the ideas of what to do with the lights. I like them. And I think they add a lot to it, to the different ones. And see if I can turn the thing here real quick. Where's the little thing to turn it around? I don't see it. I used to see it. All right, yeah.
That's
maybe
okay,
I
Terry.
can't find it. I'll just turn the camera on. And that's what the table looks like, and that's a bunch of them. It ain't working. I won't bother with it. I just show you the ones that I had. That's the one that I did, and I'm playing with them. But like I say, I'm not crazy about the different lights, and I've been trying different ones. I got all kinds of things going with them. My table looks like a Christmas tree set up. It's my little bird cage. That's nice. I'm thinking about making the light, instead of putting it in the bottom, thinking about recessing it and putting it in the top. Or putting it in the top of the lighthouse so that I'm putting a shoulder on it so I can drop it in there, and the bottom of it will be pointing up. So I can just reach in and turn the switch on and off rather than having to dump it out and take it out of there. Joaquin has some, I don't know if he got them, and I keep meaning to ask him for them. He has some that come on for 6 hours and off for 18 or 16 or something. And it would be a lot better, because then you could turn them on and leave them, and I think they'd probably last a long time. But I kind of like them, but they're not necessarily to have, and there's a bunch of different kinds. This is one from Walmart, and there's ones from, the one with the colored thing that I showed. They were at the Dollar Tree for $1.25 with the thing, but yesterday, or the day before, I was at Hobby Lobby, and I saw them over there in a 12-pack for like $6, $7. But they didn't have the little crystal things with them. Like, I really like the effect of them, but I don't like the usability. So anyway, I'll probably give up on the lighthouses. I think I'm going to polish them up and take them down to the art center and see if they can give them away and get them out of my sight. Go on to something else. Go on to something
sure
else.
For free, they'll go like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Now they'll sell them and keep the money. That's okay too.
So I just put a link in the chat to Amazon with some of these little tea lights with timers on them. So have a look.
You say you put something in the chat?
Yeah, a link to Amazon with tea lights with timers.
Oh, okay, that'd be good. I'll look at them. I might make it more. Our art center will probably be able to sell them. It's real nautical with roast. I mean, the art centers.
Yeah, they'll go like hotcakes. You're right.
Yeah.
So that's all I got, guys. Hopefully, I'll be able to get back in the shop a little more. It's been so hot, and I have so many things going on. But to get back out a little bit.
Thank you, Terry. Next up is Doug. What you got, Doug?
Hey, good to see everybody. I just went through scheduling and telling them about my availability, and I made sure Wednesday nights I'm out of there by 5 o'clock every night for a while. Anyway, yesterday I did a demo on something I just don't turn, and I've said I won't. I dipped my toe into resin, and that's nothing but cut-offs from pin blanks, just the stuff you typically throw away. They're mostly oak. There's one or two pieces of walnut. There was a piece of Purple Heart right in the top that I think is all gone. Threw them in a bucket with some resin that had some blue and some gold resin or mica powders in it, and put it in a pressure pot, let it sit there for about 2 weeks, and then I finally turned it. That's it. 4.5 inches wide, 3.5 inches tall. Finished, sanded to 240, and then finished with abrasive paste and wax. And so that's it. That's my experiment into resin or hybrid turning.
I think I still see some resin up on your light.
What's that?
I still see some resin hanging up on your light.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. It's yeah. It right. Just, you think wood goes places? resin goes even more places.
I know
It's,
why I hate turning that stuff.
Yeah, this is my first. It may very well be my last. As
I
far as
hear you.
a bowl type of blank, I've turned pin blanks before, and that was bad enough. This was horrible. Yeah, got in my clothes. I was wearing a smock with tied around my neck. Still had stuff down my neck. Had stuff in my pants. It was awful.
Right.
Did,
So
Yeah, I
anyway,
hear you.
you say it even went in your mouth?
it was in my mouth. Yes, I had to get some new shields for my face, my full face shield, and they've come in, but I had not put them in yet. So I was just wearing safety glasses. This pair right here, as a matter of fact, and oh golly, yeah, opened my mouth to say something. It's like it was a magnet. It's terrible.
You'll find
But-
yourself wearing dangle earrings even though you don't wear earrings.
That's right. That's right.
Crazy.
Well, it's still a nice piece. It turned out well. So it
Well,
looks like
yeah,
the
it came
demo
out
went
well.
well. So
Right.
Thank you. It got some nice detail in the rim. You really can't see it in the camera.
It did.
But-
I think
came
that
out
rim.
nice, Doug.
I think the rim sets it off.
Thank you. Thank you. I said yesterday, it reminds me of a marshmallow cream jar. There's
oh,
that
there
big
you go.
piece of-
Yeah, sure.
Big piece of
Yeah.
walnut right there.
What kind
And
of
then-
resin did you use?
Alumilite.
Okay.
I know they've got
Slow-
several,
slow
and,
set?
and this was one. I think they're discontinuing this particular resin. I got it on clearance at Michael's.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
forget what it was, $25 for like 2 quarts or something, and I
Right.
used every bit of it on that one blank.
Yeah. I bet.
Doug, did
Very
you
cool.
glue the pieces of wood to the outer part of your mold to hold them?
No, sir. I just took them out of a box that I collect them in, dropped them in this. I used a cottage cheese bucket, dropped them in there, and poured my resin. And I saw they were starting to float, so I put about 4 or 5 pieces of tape around it, just to keep them from going over the top, and just filled it all the way up, and put it in my, like I said, put it in my pot. And actually, when it was in the pressure pot, as it started to cure, it started to shrink down. So I lost like the top half inch or so.
Yeah,
Because the
right.
resin shrank down.
that's normal.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was
Yeah, at
it was
least it
absolutely
didn't.
full.
At least it didn't overflow into the bottom of the pot.
No.
I had a lid underneath, so
Okay.
if a little bit
Just in
overflowed,
case.
it would go.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
did not want it in my pot. So
Good job.
thanks, guys.
Okay.
thanks,
Thank
Doug.
you very much. We're going to go over now to Dennis and see what Dennis has got. What you got, Dennis?
Sorry, I had to leave. I turned a couple goblets. I don't know if you can see them.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Nothing fancy.
Pretty.
And then just another one.
What woods are they?
Came out well.
Walnut.
Looks good, Dennis.
How did you finish the bottom?
I just sanded it. I went ahead
Okay.
and sanded it, and then just rubbed paste wax in there. Well, first
It almost looked like you turned the bottom at some point.
I parted it down, and then I didn't part it off. I cut it off, sanded the
Okay.
bottom.
Gotcha.
then-
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. And then
Very nice.
I watched Dane's YouTube this morning, and you were talking about how to go ahead and get the chucks off. So I turned this tonight before. This was a table leg I picked up off the road yet this afternoon. So I've used
Made it.
I used to
Made a
use
Chuck
the-
spanner.
Yeah, I used to use the metal, but anyway, this works out pretty good. I like that idea, so I turned that today.
Good.
That's about it.
Hey, you should write up an article on that, Dennis, and put it in the newsletter.
What on this?
Yeah.
You had it on YouTube.
Well, I know, but there's nothing wrong with you doing your little project there. Your workaround for it.
All right. Yeah, I'll do something.
That's slick. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it was just it was like it was a chair leg.
Yeah.
I just turned it down, and somebody mentioned that, you know, a 1/2 inch thickness here. I got to work it down just a little bit here, but instead of throwing it out.
Right.
And then
It's now a tool.
The cameras. I'm not that much of a camera person, but to take a picture of these, can you take them with your cell phone, or is that not good enough?
Yes.
No, yes,
cell
it
phone
is. Yes,
good.
it is.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Cell phone is
cell
perfect.
phone cameras are usually better than a lot of the older DLR cameras. So I get better pictures with my cell camera than I get
Yeah.
with my camera, my
Yeah.
standalone camera.
Yeah. Just take your picture with your cell phone and email it to editor
Okay.
at Worldwide. Yep.
All right. I'll do the goblets, and I'll do this.
Okay. Sounds
Maybe
good,
they'll
Chief.
maybe they'll make it, maybe they won't. I get it. I'm not as good as
Oh.
everybody else with that embellishment of stuff, but
No.
pretty cool.
You will absolutely be in there. There's nothing wrong with what you've got there. Not at all.
All right.
You
Well,
got
thank
me
you.
beat.
What's that?
I say you got me beat.
No.
Yeah.
And then one more
Very
thing.
very.
One more thing, I was experimenting with. I don't know. We were talking last week about the vac systems, and my hose. I have a box, and what I did is I took the hose off and I put it over the top of the box, and it was getting more. Just a 4-inch hose. I was getting more dust coming off into the hose close, like if I was turning this, and it was like right here, I was getting a ton of dust going in and not going anywhere else. So the closer I was with the 4-inch round on top versus on the bottom, it was taking more. So I don't know.
Oh. Huh.
Just
That's a
interesting.
thought, coming in on top instead of at the bottom or on the
Yeah.
side. Okay.
So I just figure I'd try it. I pass it on just to see, because I know everybody's got them mounted, you know, on the bottom, and
Right.
it just seemed to work pretty good. I had the light on it, and it was just, you know, sucking it right up off the top. So anyway,
That's something for the back using folks to try.
yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Next up is James. What you got, James?
Just a little vase.
Oh my.
I'm trying to do my basket illusion again.
Just a little vase. What's they have?
Yeah.
It's about 5 inches high, about 3 inches across. It's just a piece of ash.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, there's something different.
Got a good finish on that.
That is about 4 coats of spray-on lacquer.
Okay. That's a nice finish.
Yeah, I wanted to hold in the color so they wouldn't bleed eventually. And I figured that
Right.
was the easiest way.
What kind of dyes did you use for your color?
The Faber-Castell pens. It's
Oh,
an
okay.
it's an Indian ink
Indian.
paste.
Yeah.
That
That's,
works
they're
real
they're
well.
great. They're great. Yep. Very cool. Thanks, James.
Hey, thank you all.
And next up is Steve. What do you got, Steve?
Here we go. Can you hear me?
Yes,
sir.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. I've been away for a while, so coming back.
Yeah, you need to stop that.
Yeah. I talk about learning embellishments. I have this piece of let me pull it back a little bit. This is black locust, and I've been trying to experiment with some alcohol dyes.
Ooh.
So I dyed it black, and then I sanded it back, and then I put some purple on it, and then sanded that back, and then I put some 2 different colors of blues. But for some reason, it came out there's a greenish color to it.
Yeah.
There's a green color in black locust. Black locust has got a taste of green in it. So
as I'm doing this, I'm saying, well, boy, that kind of looks like the ocean. You know, it's like deep blue.
That looks pretty.
I said, well, maybe
really cool.
I'll try to embellish it on the top and make it look like breakers and waves on the beach. But I don't think it didn't work out too well. It looks
cool.
It looks great.
Looks like I
like the effect. I like the effect.
But the black locust is really pretty wood. It's the first time I've turned it.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Nice undercut lip on that.
What's that?
Right.
Nice undercut lip or rim on it, like that.
Nice undercut on the rim.
Yeah, it's got a little undercut. Good for
how many M&Ms how many bags of M&Ms will that hold?
Oh, I think this is popcorn. I got another one for M&Ms here.
Oh, okay.
This is for M&Ms.
Oh, there you go. Oh my!
Outstanding.
So this is a bowl from a board.
Yes.
Oh,
good job.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Damn. Look at that.
Tiger maple on the outside, and this is mahogany, I believe, and canary wood on the middle.
Nice.
Well done.
Great.
Beautiful.
How thick of each piece did you start with?
It was about an inch, maybe an inch.
1 inch. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which gave me quite a good lap. And I did what I do 50, 45, 50, and 55 degrees on the angles.
Yeah, because it starts burning if you're any thicker than inch and a half.
No, I don't think I can cut that thick with my partner.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Right. That's why I asked the question about the thickness.
I think this is about max, about an inch and an inch maybe.
That sounds right. That's good. That's beautiful.
The lines came out pretty good, as far as the matching, I thought. And my only self critique on this is I should have sanded the bands after I cut them out. I think they would match a little better. If you can see, it's a little bit of a gap in here.
Oh, for the joints. Yeah.
Joints.
Yeah, it's not that. It's hardly even noticeable on the inside. It looks really good. That's some crazy grain in that quilted maple.
Isn't it beautiful? Look at the chatoyance in that.
Yeah.
That's just.
Yeah, it looks like that board that I was using, making my rolling pins a few years ago. Just nothing but quilts.
Yeah, it's just I really love tiger maple. I just think it's beautiful wood. So this is for M&Ms.
There you go. That's for M&Ms.
Great fun. Very nice. Very nice.
Beautiful work, Steve.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, very cool.
All right, Dane, that's all I've got on my list, so I'm going back to you.
Well, I got a feeling Mr. Howard King has something to show, and he's just trying to bogart till the end. Howard, you're up, buddy.
Putting him on the spot, huh?
Uh-huh. I know he's got something.
Yeah, but I have to go get it.
Oh, run. Walk. No running. Yeah, if you guys don't follow him on Facebook, you're missing out on a lot of stuff that he does.
He puts stuff up almost every day. Yeah.
I know, right? I don't know how he has the time to get it all done.
I don't either. Things like feed myself and pay bills and stuff.
That's all he does is turn wood.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. There he is.
Am I still on?
Yep, we got you.
Okay. Let me get that off. A friend of mine gave me a big old Jarrah burl. And so wow. I've been working on this thing for a couple of weeks. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
Wow.
Can you see it?
Look at that.
Really pretty.
And there's the back.
What kind of dye did you use? What kind of dye did you use on it?
I didn't. No dye. This
Oh,
is
wow,
the color of it.
Really?
Wow.
Got oil finish on it.
Wow.
You said
What kind of
cherry
burl did
burl.
you say that was, Howard?
Jarrah burl from
Oh,
Australia.
Yarra.
Yarra.
Okay.
Yarra. Okay.
Wow.
I think it's a type of eucalyptus tree.
Yep.
Yeah, most of those burls are eucalyptus type
Wow.
trees. So anyway,
Wow. Pretty.
Yes, it.
it's
How dusty
22
was it?
by it's 22 by 20. Oh, I'm sorry, 20 inches by 18 inches. So, and it has several nice cracks going through it. And there's one here. I don't know if you can see very much. Comes all the way to the center. So I was standing to the side of it.
Yes. I would love.
Wow.
But you're talking about a messy, dirty, filthy
Yeah, it's
shavings and stuff.
dusty.
Oh, my goodness, it's terrible, you know. But I thought it came out pretty good.
Yes, it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It did come out real good, Howard. Great job on that. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
I like how you kept the edge natural.
Yeah, that thing was real sticky.
I love the way you.
I
did
mean,
that.
like it was like a porcupine,
I
kind of like
love
a
it.
porcupine. And so what I did, I put some one twin grit on the board and kind of went over it to take the
Fuzzies.
Yeah, but boy, you talking about chewing me up. I mean, they can do a job on your hand if you're not careful. Ask me why, you know.
Uh-huh.
How I know.
I bet.
So anyway,
Very
so
good.
this was big old burl, and today the second part I did another. I cored out another piece, so that's what I'm working on now.
What'd you use
But it's
to
a little
core
bit
it?
smaller than this one.
Are you using McNaughton to core it?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
And it just about beat me to death.
That's what I need to say. Probably need to
Good.
put an extra long handle on there.
Well, yeah, on this one, I got within, left about 2 inches in the center, and I kept pushing and trying to get it in there, and so finally I took a dead blow hammer and kept popping, just broke off.
Yeah.
I was lucky that it didn't pull out the center of it. So
Right.
anyway,
Yeah.
but
Great job.
joy wood turning.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's just beautiful.
Well, thank you. All right.
All right. Let's go see what Mr. Joaquin's got. Hey, Joaquin.
Okay, unmuted. Sunday morning, I was headed to church, all dressed up, and I looked on the side of the road, and somebody tore off a porch, 4x4 stuff. I had to stop and pick that stuff up. What am I going to do? I'm all dressed up, and they're out there looking at me. I'm a wood turner. And so I ended up coming up with the weed plot.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
They're wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was amazed. People have been coming by, and I've been getting compliments on them immediately. And I go, what? They're just so faded out tight, you know, on this fence post.
Well,
But,
it combines rustic and finish, and it's beautiful with wood. They're great.
yeah,
It's yeah.
it's just old
New
pine.
Wave. You got yourself some new Wave weed pots.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
looking for more now everywhere I go.
It fuels your next tool purchases.
Yeah. So that's what I've done this week so far.
Well, that's good. glad you're getting back out in the shop, Joaquin.
Well,
Yeah,
tell you what, that's a good idea.
well, you know, I mean, they got this style called shabby chic that these women, you know, they pick up
Right.
all kinds of
Right.
stuff,
I heard of that.
and hang it up in her house and make handles for the door out of forks and spoons, and it's
Right.
crazy. Yeah. And so I'm going in the gallery in August in there and see what happens to them.
Yeah,
Be sure to be sure to double your price.
Double it from what though? Oh, yeah, I intend to. 'Cause,
You know, if you were at Waco at the silos, Joaquin, those would go for $150, $200.
Oh, that's a good point. Mhm. I'm thinking 129.
Can't go wrong with odd and even pricing, so
Yeah,
it'd be good.
I've got a friend who's a jeweler. She does beautiful stuff, and she is with a 9. She says it works. I'm trying it out.
Yeah, sure. I ain't got $40, but I got 39.
Yeah, it's amazing.
For sure. All right, well, folks, does anybody else have an item they would like to show? Tip for a trick or a comment or?
Let me make
Yay,
one more
nay?
comment about the website. If you can
Sure.
direct it to me, I'm going to share screen. And just to make sure everybody knows that we have in the past had a problem, and I'm not anticipating the problem existing again, but are we seeing the screen now? Are
Yes,
you seeing
yep. Front page.
You're seeing the front page. I want everyone to know that you really should click this link, because if this website goes down and you can't click this, you can't get to the meetings. If you click this link, it'll take you to a place that'll tell you how to set up your phone, your iPad, your Windows device, and your Android so that you can get to the meeting.
Right.
Don't worry about the fact that you can't get here forever. I mean, but just in case of emergency, I want you to all have access to getting back to the meeting. Okay,
Yes.
that's all I really wanted to add as a share. I thought that was probably the most important page altogether, and I seem to have ignored it. Again, it's
No,
on
it's
the
a good idea.
page right there. Think you can see it.
Dave,
Yes.
don't worry. I have you in my Google Calendar for every Wednesday with a link. That's how I keep track of it.
Very good.
That's the easy way. That's the easy way. Or download Zoom. It's a free app, and you know once you have the meeting number in the Zoom app, it's there until you delete it. Then you don't have to worry about going to a web page to open up and go to it. So
There you go.
there's options.
I don't want you to be a captive audience of the web page just because we did have problems several weeks back, and
Right.
I don't anticipate it again.
David?
Let's hope not. That was an ordeal for us.
As long as there's no risk of the meeting number changing ever, we're good.
Right.
I don't see that happening in the foreseeable future.
David, there was a question in the chat about deleting a post from the barter page.
Deleting a post? Send me
from
an
the
email
barter
about
page.
wanting to delete it, and I'll delete it.
Okay. Heather had a question about deleting something she had on the barter page, and she was wondering how to do that.
Oh, Heather, is Heather there? No. Well, anyway, all she has to do is send me an email asking to delete it, and I'll delete it.
Or we can just go in and archive it. That way it's not seen.
There
Whichever.
we go. Yep.
One or the other.
Heather's there, but she's muted.
Right.
She might be at work.
Okay. She's probably
She's on vacation. She's 3 deep into a box of wine, I think. can't defend herself right now. So that's my story. I'm gonna
Glance
stick
around
to it.
and find which one is from Heather, and oh, there it is. The beating tool.
Yeah, I think it's on
Okay.
beating
Was,
tools.
was that
As you say,
Dan,
we'll
was that
archive.
3 cups or 3 boxes?
I said boxes.
Yeah. I've finished boxes before. It doesn't go well.
Only one box, Dean. Sorry.
There she is.
There you
she
go.
is. All right.
And you're talking
Yeah, you
about
can
you'd
go
like
ahead
to
and
have
delete
the
that beating tool one.
beating tool will go away. Okay, great.
Okay, all right. I went ahead and made some.
Outstanding.
Sounds like a good plan.
See, you should write up an article on how to make your own beating tools and put it in the newsletter.
That's
Yeah,
right.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do that.
All right. Well, with that, it's top of the hour. It's been a swell evening once again. I appreciate everybody that's still on here and all the folks that dropped off earlier. We had 87 people on at the height tonight, which is really good, especially considering the heat for the majority of folks across the nation and around the world. We'll do the same. We'll have this going on same place, same time frame next week. Scott or Billy or Pat or somebody will be opening up the meeting, and I hope you all have a really good meeting. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Beyond that, I'm going to leave the meeting open for the usual after hours, and we'll solve the world's problems now.